Most people, when they think of self-esteem, make two fundamental mistakes. The first mistake is that they assume that self-esteem is psychological. That is to say, if you think about it, if you talk about it, if you journal about it hard enough, then you'll stop hating yourself and you'll stop feeling like a piece of shit. Sometimes the psychological types are a bit more advanced than that, and I'll tell you, well, it's actually extremely difficult to control your thoughts, so you should start with controlling your environment. They'll tell you, clean your room, see the sun, talk to hot blondes, socialize, exercise, fix your diet, fix your sleep, and so on and so on. And then you'll feel great about yourself. And that brings us to the second fundamental mistake that people make, which is that they assume that the end result, the end goal of self-esteem is to feel good about yourself, or at the very least, not to hate yourself. But of course, when you stop hating yourself, the new goal becomes to like yourself. So most people think that the goal of self-esteem is to feel great about yourself, and to get there, you use psychology. That is, you control your thoughts, either directly through like meditation, journaling, therapy, or indirectly by fixing your life and fixing your environment. So let me ask you, how well does this approach work out? Because I have the impression that it does not really work out. You see, although you suffer less if you fix your life and manage your psychological wounds, no matter how hard you do self-improvement, and trust me, I've done self-improvement very hard, there's still going to be a certain feeling of restlessness within you. And so, if you still feel restless, as if something is missing, even though you do everything that the psychologists say, then obviously what the psychologists say is nonsense. Then obviously this psychological hedonistic approach does not work. And it's no wonder, because it has never worked for basically all of human history. The approach to self-esteem was not to ask yourself how you feel, how to feel good about yourself, how to be as happy as possible. It was to ask yourself how to reveal the heaven within, or how to bring the heaven above down to earth. This was the approach for most of human history, and I have the impression that we've completely forgotten it. And this is why so many people struggle with self-esteem right now. They think that self-esteem is all about them, all about their pleasure, all about their identity, their ego, their inner narrative, their pursuit of pleasure. Whereas the actual self-esteem is about revealing the heaven within. Why? Well, because if you try to inflate your ego, which is what you do when you use psychology and pursue pleasure, you lose the self-esteem goes away. It's just like with the butterflies. When you try to chase a butterfly, it flies away. When you wait a little bit, then there is a great chance that the butterfly will land right on your shoulder. The same is with fear. If you try to chase self-esteem using psychology and hedonism, it will go away. But when you live virtuously and focus on virtue and doing good, that's when you get real self-esteem. And ironically, when you focus on virtue and on being good, you forget that self-esteem exists, and that is actual self-esteem. When you try to use this psychology and hedonism, well, then you focus on self-esteem, and so you cannot reach it. But when you forget that self-esteem exists by focusing solely on virtue and being a good person and revealing the heaven within and bringing paradise to earth, then you'll forget that it exists, and then you'll stop obsessing about yourself, about your wounds, about your ego, about your pride, and all these different things. So this is the way to self-esteem. And now you may be asking, what does revealing the heaven on earth mean? Well, I can give you a rough idea. It is impossible to still feel like a piece of shit and to still hate yourself when all you do is good. It is impossible to hate yourself if you never get offended, if you never send ill will, if you never stare at us, if you never do the things you know you're not supposed to do. If you only do good and completely discipline yourself and your thoughts to abstain from vice and allow your heart to be transformed by scripture and by virtue, it is impossible to still hate yourself. I can promise that to you. It is impossible to hate yourself when all you do is good. But of course, when you chase self-esteem using psychology and all this hedonism, you won't know this because they tell you to prioritize your own pleasure, to do things, because psychology says it's good to do good, because when you do good, you'll feel better about yourself. And so this is why intention really matters. If you do something to the psychology, you will not see the results when you when you would just do it directly. Because when you focus on this psychology, on this hedonism, well, then you will lose what you want, which is to not suffer so much. And so the way to not suffer is to completely forget about your pride, ego, hedonism, and so on, and to just focus on being good. And if it is difficult to be good, guess what? You can still do good. You can still force yourself to do good. Even if your mind and your heart get into this argument, you can still focus on virtue. You can still focus on discipline. You can still focus on doing good. And this is the path to self-esteem, not this trying to feel good about yourself by doing all these optimizations in your life. The way to self-esteem is one where you sacrifice what needs to go in the pursuit of an upward aim. You try to bring paradise to earth using virtue and goodwill. This is the way, not the impulsive hedonism psychology path. And so, if this video helped you, we'll see you in the next one.